Hey guys, what is up? It's Antonio. Welcome back to another episode here on Gladiator Disc Golf. Today, we're talking about how we can overcome mental barriers. If you're brand new to my channel, I want to welcome you. Thank you so much for coming and stopping by. Please make sure that you like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. And make sure you follow me on Instagram. I try to post some funny reels and helpful tips that don't necessarily make it to YouTube. We're at the point in the disc golf season where if you're an amateur player, and whether or not it's your first year playing, you've probably played in some tournaments. And we've all been following, Gatekeeper Media, Jomas Pros, CCDG, GK Pro, all of these professional filming groups, following the Pro Tour, seeing these professional players just absolutely dominate disc golf courses. And we're kind of in the middle of the season or entering the second half of the season where we start to see fatigue. And I don't necessarily just mean physical fatigue. That is a given. We're talking about men and women who have been on the road since March. Have some of them made it back to their homes or, gone back to their hometowns and seen family over the course of the year? Probably. But for the most part, these guys are road warriors. And so it's understandable that physical fatigue is going to happen. But did you know that even pros struggle with mental barriers and mental fatigue? How do they overcome that stuff? There really is no one blanket answer for overcoming mental barriers. Why? Well, everybody has different mental barriers. There are some professional players that struggle on the putting green. There are some that struggle with hitting their lines. There are some that struggle with confidence. And especially that last one, confidence, that is not something that necessarily has a physical fix. That is a mental fix. That is a mental barrier. So, how can we overcome mental barriers like this? Well, the first thing you need to do is admit that you have a mental barrier. Admit that you have something internally that's preventing you from being the best that you can be out on the course. We have to all admit that at some point through our disc golf career, we have put limitations on what we can achieve. I know, speaking for myself, I put a limitation on myself up until recently that I would never be able to throw a backhand mid-range 300 feet. And it was that mental barrier that really prevented me from exceeding my expectations for pretty much nearly 3 years. And it was that mental barrier that kept me from pushing myself and really getting outside of my comfort zone. The second thing, you need to redefine what is possible. Ask yourself, why did I say I can't do this? Why did I tell myself that I will never be a good enough putter? Why did I tell myself I'll never be able to throw a disc this far? Why did I tell myself that I won't be able to learn how to throw the forehand the right way? Why? The second thing you need to do is identify what you need to do to fix this. Now, obviously most people are going to say my putting, my backhand, my forehand, maybe even my mental game, my confidence. And those are all good things. But those are things that people have been saying for honestly decades. And yet we still have people who struggle with them. Things that I struggle with, things that you struggle with, things that pros struggle with. So being vague and broad like that actually isn't going to help you. You need to be specific. So if we're going to talk about me, for example, throwing the backhand 300 feet with a mid-range, I couldn't just say I need to overcome this by just doing it. That's not going to help anyone. What do I need to do? Well, I need to break it down into steps. I can't just say I need to improve my backhand throw. Nope, not going to help anybody. I need to look at my footwork. I need to look at my hip engagement. I need to look at my release point. I need to look at where I'm starting the disc, where the disc is finishing. Am I throwing those up? What's my rotation? Am I rounding or am I actually having the disc come through? A lot of things to consider, and it can be pretty overwhelming thinking about all of those things. And that's why it leads us to the fourth step. And that is to develop a plan to achieve your goal. Now here's the thing, you have to temper what you're trying to achieve with reality. Would I say that most people should be able to improve their form in about 2 weeks? If they're practicing every day for 1, 2, or 3 hours, yes, I think that's totally realistic. If someone is putting in hours every single day, specifically targeting skills that they're only working on that day, I definitely think you could see vast improvement in 2 weeks. But that's not realistic. Not everybody has 2, 3, 4 hours to go out and just work on engaging hips or work on release point or anything else that you can think of. So you have to temper your expectations with reality. Not saying that you can achieve your goal, but rather I'm saying give yourself a legitimate timeline, maybe a month, maybe 2 months, and track your progress. And if you want to be legitimate with this and you really want to see results, you need to have a calendar going. You need to have something that's going to tell you on this day, I'm working on this. On this day, I'm working on this. And this is going to help you overcome this mental barrier. Now, you might be saying, Antonio, you've been talking about physical things. How is this helping me overcome mental barriers? Well, think about it. Limitations we place on ourselves might be because we see physical things in our game, but it's really all up here. It's really all because we've said, I'm not going to be able to do that. And so if we take a step away from that and say, okay, what can I control? What can I do to improve? You'll be able to start knocking those things off your list as, I can do that, I can do that, I can do that. And sure enough, you're going to turn into a great disc golfer. At the end of the day, guys, there are few things in life that replace hard work, determination, diligence, and persistence. You need to have these things in order to be good at pretty much anything in life. There's the whole theory about what it takes to be a master. Minimum 10,000 hours of doing the same thing. So, am I saying squeeze 10,000 hours into 2 months? No, because that's mathematically not possible. But what I'm saying is that we need to work on these things. We all have stuff that we are struggling with. We all have things we want to improve upon. The best way to do that is to lay out a plan. If you don't have a lot of time, if maybe you can only play once a week, and I get that. That was me for a couple years, only being able to play once a week, even while filming YouTube videos. So things were really hard. But I mean, it's something that if that's all you have, find a way to make it work for you. If it means that 1 week you do field work, the next week you go play around, then do what works for you. If you only are interested in playing casually and for fun, nothing wrong with that. If you just want to go out and hang out with buddies and play some disc golf and enjoy your time, there's nothing wrong with that. But this is specifically for people who are trying to get better. And so if that's you, making a schedule will dramatically help you and you will see some dramatic improvements because you're going to be holding yourself accountable. So ultimately, at the end of the day, we all want to improve. And if we can overcome these honestly silly mental barriers that we've put on ourselves, we can improve way more than we've imagined. Remember the 4 things you need to do. Identify the problem, redefine why you can't do something. In other words, redefine why you can do it. Number 3, identify the specific things that need to be done in order for you to have your ultimate goal. And then number 4, make out a plan, make out a schedule that says on these days I'm going to go do this. And that's basically it, guys. That's all it takes to overcome mental barriers. I promise it sounds way more difficult than it actually is because once you get through that plan, which may only take you like 15 minutes, you're going to feel so empowered and you're going to feel awesome going out to the field, going out to the course, and conquering your next round. That's all I have for you today, guys. Let me know in the comments below what mental barriers and challenges have you had to overcome throughout your disc golf career and how did you do that? That's it for today, guys. Until next time, have a great round.